Hello, everybody, and welcome to Aurorum Thronekeeper Season 1, Session 5? 5. We're going to say 5. You guys got trump carded last session, and this is the first time, so today's 5. Yeah. Are you guys going to be nice today to our wonderful viewers? Thank you, Aklo, for the 1,000 bitty bits. You guys going to be nice to our cast today? Because, I mean, you're so mean yesterday, and these are good people. I mean, I don't mean the PCs. They're pretty terrible people, especially Josh. But the characters are good people. Doxy's debatable. But they're good people. Okay? Anyways. What's up, guys? How's your, Josh, you feeling better?
Yeah, I feel much better. Much better.
Not gonna die on us?
I mean, I'm not promising it.
Okay, fair enough.
Heart attack is still in the works. So,
yeah. It's like I survived COVID, gonna get a monster. You know, it's good life choices here. How about Will and Doxy? I know both of you had your own bouts of illness recently. Are both of you back in action?
I'm still the tiredest girl.
Yeah.
I have to sleep twice a day. It's awful.
The tiredest, like Rufalin tired, or?
Like, yes. Like, I'll hit a brick wall. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, it is exhausting to even roll over. It's insane.
Yeah, I was telling him, I was doing the dishes the other day, and a wave hit me, and I was like, I had to go sit down.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to just fall into the sink.
Yeah.
Jeez, that sounds terrible. Will, are you okay?
Yeah, doing fine.
Okay.
Also tired.
Yeah.
Also tired, but fine overall. Just working way too much, but that's for good reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, working is probably good in, social distancing, quarantine, lockdown, whatever you call it. Yeah, it's probably a good thing. Keep you sane, or whatever.
Keep me sane, keep me busy, and we've obviously got cool projects going on. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I've spent so much time chasing a bicycle outside. My 4.5-year-old knows how to ride a bike with training wheels, and she thinks it's funny when I have to sprint to keep up with her. So she's just like, ding, ring, ring, ring. And I'm like, oh, I'm so out of shape. And I'm like, this is my kid. I did this. Yeah. So, quarantine is so much fun. All right, well, let's get going. Let's get back to the stream. Who wants to remind us what happened last session? Who wants to jump on the grenade? How about this? Whoever wants to do it gets +2 on their first die check. First skill check.
I feel like that should be Josh. Josh rolls the shittiest.
Whoa!
Fucks you the hardest out of all of us. You can't deny that.
I mean, I can't argue it, but ow. Okay, so we found out that Anna's a jerk. And let's see. Okay, so we found out that Oscar, the town was getting all screwed up. There was infiltrators from the paramilitary that were disguising themselves as Gish. And our group was able to find that out. Doxy, with some clever role playing and running, was able to get away from an ambush that was set up for her. Or I guess not really an ambush, but I guess a kidnapping, just to get her out of the way. But Oscar and his ridiculous run was able to find her, and we murdered almost all of them, except for one. Well, no, not all of them. One of them ran away. Yeah.
We just broke back the other one's leg and
took him back. We questioned him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we took him back, questioned him. Found out that this was an orchestrated thing, that they were trying to move in and get the sensors out and all this stuff. We informed the base. Was it? Is it Magnus? Magnus? How do you say the commander's name?
The what? I'm sorry.
The
rank?
Yes.
Magister?
Yeah, it was Magister Duncan.
Yeah, Magister Duncan. Yeah.
Okay. We informed him. I enraged him, and I think that was it. Then we left with the plan to circumvent the incoming ambush.
Awesome. And just so you guys know, for two of you, because you did not see that stream, So Doxy and Will, I actually had a stream a couple days ago where I was looking to expand the stunt tables and so on. There's a lot of advice given from various people that were watching the stream. Some daddies thrown out to them for coming up with cool ideas. I'm not done refining it to make it so it's something that's going to be usable. Probably won't be until next session or the one after that. But in short, like we were able to like understand the rules even better, come up with some cool stunt table ideas. So you guys have like more options for you, including things like Doxy when you're trying to run away, instead of constantly doing strength run checks or con run checks, whatever they are, you would be able to actually do things like, I want to use my intelligence instead to come up with a good idea, and things like that. So super thanks to everybody that helped out with that there in that stream, and let's get back into it. You guys had left last session the town that you were in to head over to the other town. Let me drop you in the map. That'd be over here. Oop, and switch the overlay because I'm a good streamer. Shut up, Neil. So you guys were over in the town by the name of Saul before, and that was the one just barely to the south. So I have a cute little marker right there for it. And you were coming up to an even smaller town than that one. That one was not very populated, as we discussed beforehand. This one, the one that you're coming into, is somewhere between a thorp and a village. We're talking the numbers of this town are maybe triple digits, and that's including the military personnel that's here. I mean, it is very...
A hamlet.
A hamlet, sure. You can actually have it in the morning with some toast and maybe some cantaloupe. A good old breakfast hamlet. Is that what you call an omelet with, like, pig in it? No?
I just am turned off entirely by ham and cantaloupe, so...
Wow. Doxy, you are no longer in my sex dreams. So we, when you guys travel north to get to that little village, it's one of the ones where it's so small it doesn't even have like a welcome to or any sign like that that's there. Even when you get into it, I think I described this last time, when you get into it, there's not even an inn here. It has like a small tavern that exists, sure, but it's more of like a speakeasy than it is like a tavern. Like it's a very, very small place. Either way, when you guys come into the town, I think you had an agenda in mind. What was it that your plan was? Oscar?
I don't remember.
Message. We sent the message, right?
You sent a message back to the queen, correct?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Two ways. You wanted to use Doxy's method and the other method to send a message back to the queen using the
blacksmith with
guy.
the broken bastard sword.
Correct.
We also never fully discussed how to use that scroll.
Oh, like you mean to cast a spell off of a scroll? That's just a skill check.
The lightning one?
No, not the lightning one. The one that
the sensor?
Yeah.
Oh, the sensor. Yeah, that's right.
By the way, I know that their names are backwards in the overlay. It's because I have to fix that overlay. This one overlay is broken from the way Kingmaker and Regicide's format is, so I'm just gonna fix it at some point in time during this stream. So because their cameras are in the right spots, the names are in the wrong spots. So I'll just
For the
fix it
moment,
later.
I'm Laszlo. Don't worry about it.
But either way, so reading the scroll to cast a spell is going to be an intelligence-based thing, a skill check, probably arcane lore or whatever. But we don't have to worry as much with that one quite just yet.
It's more what are we doing with the scrying scroll? The scroll of
I mean, yeah, we didn't discuss
how we were going to use it, not how you use it.
Oh, sure. Is this a conversation you guys wanted to have during your your travel itself?
Yeah, well, we're actually we have a cart. Me and Crisellan are on a cart, and
I'm riding
Oscar's on a horse.
Yeah.
Could I follow them back through the scry, through the sensor? Would there be a way for me to
they never set up a sensor, so
I know.
Trying to star 69.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I if I use their sensor, or is it because I'm using it? It's my magic.
It's a one. It's a
Only
one-way.
90s kids will get it.
It's a one-way street.
Okay. I mean, I don't have any good ideas to do with it, but I'm not the military genius. So.
Well, we had discussed using it to set up an ambush.
Mm-hmm.
We had discussed using the person that we captured, but we left him behind. So that's out the window. We either need to find more spies in order to get that to work, or we need to make it look like we're making plans to have something crazy happen somewhere to lure in a bunch of people and kill them.
Or instead of
Or
using it as
capture
an
them.
ambush in the first place, we use it to guard our retreat, pay attention to where we have gone, so that we can know a safe path through, whether or not path that we take back is going to be the same one that we've taken in the
Well,
first.
remember, they can tap into it.
They will be seeing.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. They
Yes.
don't know that we know.
Yeah.
It's true.
We could build or find a hut. I could cast it, have it center of the hut, and then set it on fire so it looks like there's the town was destroyed, right? There's flames everywhere around the sensor if they're looking through it. That's the only way I can think of, them maybe preemptive attacking before they're ready, just to try to, do a clean swipe or something. But then again, we're not talking to the commander anymore because we left. So I don't know if it's a good idea for us to screw up with his plans.
Probably not. And to be honest with you, I think he'd like the time to prepare.
Maybe they'll send less forces if they saw it's destroyed. But we need a good amount of evidence for that, for them to see it,
We
I'm
could use it as a taunt. Divert their attention elsewhere, somewhere that's more prepared.
Don't know that we have anywhere that's more prepared. And they might see us away from that town and think it's even better to attack there.
We don't even have to be the ones that set off the sensor.
No, we don't. Honestly, anybody that's partially trained can attempt it.
There will be a degree of acting. Gentlemen, I could set up a double agent. I could build trust. I could speak to somebody in front of the sensor as though I am a spy for their side. They would see that and then trust me.
And we could make Oscar look like your bodyguard? If it's someone from the Arcane Congress, I don't think I should be seen, but they don't know who Oscar is.
That puts you at a lot of risk, Priscilla.
Not with you by my side.
Oscar's demeanor doesn't change from that. He's still very clearly reticent.
It's no more risk than anything we've already been through.
Get them to meet. She could offer a meeting time.
As a matter of fact, I look at it as insurance. I'd feel quite safer if they thought that I was working for them.
You'd have to be pretty convincing.
If you'd seen some of the men that I've accompanied places and how satisfied they were, you'd know that convincing is a thing I do.
I believe you. But that's not necessarily the type of convincing I mean.
You can see that she's offended by what you just said.
I don't mean that you need to convince someone you're face to face to. I mean you need to convince someone who is not there, who is either only seeing or only hearing. You need to present in a way that is going to not just prove that you are on their side to them, but make it impossible to doubt.
I'm sure there's a way that we could create that illusion without doing anything untoward. I'm sure.
Would you want to portray yourself as more of an arcane user or a spy? How would you want to be presented?
I can't fake magic. I can perform minor magic, but they must use people that don't use magic.
You'll be seen as less intelligent, though.
That just makes me more dangerous.
I could help you fake it. I'm gonna look around. Is there like a bush, like a small dried bush somewhere around that's close to us as on our travels?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Okay, and I'll
this plant might fall around.
and I'll just say, snap your fingers.
I see where you're going with this. I do, and it's fancy and fun and something we ought to explore, but what if they did think that I was stupid? What if they thought that I was loyal and stupid?
What if they thought you could kill a Venator?
That would be very impressive.
That
It
would
can't be
exactly
you.
The kind of threat that they need.
It
could
can't
me.
be you.
Why not?
Because should we come face to face with them, you will be there with me, and they will know that it was a ruse. We'll need to loan somebody your clothing. I hate that idea as much as I can tell you hate that idea.
Yes.
I think Cristellanza has a point, though. If they think of her as unintelligent, they may not guard their words as well in front of her. They may say things that they would just assume would go over her head.
The other thing to consider is that maybe now's not the time to use this. There's always the question we should ask.
Doesn't have
if
to
we
be now.
don't. And to be honest with you, I see a lot of risk in using it right now. And I think the benefit is too low at this point in time.
I think the benefit is invaluable, but it needs to be done smart.
Yeah.
I just think that we may find a better time.
It might make more sense to do it in advance.
Okay.
Precisely.
Where they think we're working with them and they're trying to get rid of them, right? Instead of tying us to a Malta.
But they will need to see me interacting with people on our side. So that it puts the idea in their head that I'm a spy, so that it won't be suspicious if they see me interacting with people on our side.
But what if they don't think you're a spy, but someone they can turn?
Then I will tell them that I am a spy.
No, but my point is, I think they probably keep track of their spies. There was communication between that group and their home base. Because one was added and they found out about that. They found out that someone else was there and they were meant to keep an eye on him.
There's not a single general in a single country that knows every spy that works for him.
I'm not suggesting they know every spy. I'm suggesting there is a way to track down every spy. And what I am suggesting is if they think that they can turn you to become a spy, that may be more valuable than assuming that you're already in place.
Especially if you were a Yovance noble in their eyes?
It's far riskier for them to not assume that I'm on their side already. They may just kill me and be done with it. Or rather, try.
I think we're
It's
missing
just something to
information.
consider, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's go and speak to the next official and run this idea by them. Perhaps they'll have something to offer.
Or Heathguard.
Or Heathguard.
Or Heathguard.
Can't tell secrets when no one knows them.
That's perfect, actually.
That is my thought. I just want to note, I don't like any of this. Any of the use of it. I have hesitance around it.
I find it quite exciting. And I promise to not let that make my decisions biased in one way or the other. But it is insurance. It is safety. And it is valuable.
I believe in the value. I believe that it can be insurance and safety, but there is a major risk that has to come before that.
We'll speak to somebody and put our minds around it over some sleep, over some comfort, and over some time.
I just think we're missing information. We have too many variables right now.
I agree.
Indeed.
Well, at least we're all on the same page with that. And Oscar kind of rides ahead a little bit at this point and just kind of takes the lead there, moving forward.
I'll just say, Chris Ellen, I was gonna make it look like you lit that tree on fire. But, okay.
Chris Ellen smiles and she snaps.
and I'll just point and then I'll set it on fire.
And she'll do what like she very appreciated it, the showmanship of it.
As you guys are approaching this small town, which I discussed beforehand, being kind of more of a village, thorp, hamlet, whatever you want to call it, as you approach this small place whose numbers are probably barely touching the triple digits, including the station's military that's here, one of the things that catches your eye as you come round a bend, you're able to see the lake. That's a good distance off. It's a massive lake. And obviously the elevation of that lake is a little bit lower. Everybody knows the significance of that lake being one of the greatest boundaries between Paradal and Malta. I don't think Chris Ellen has ever traveled through Malta and this far to the east before. Why would she have? She's a diplomat that needs to not be on a battlefront. She's stayed in the arms, mines, and beds of people of much greater import and places that are much safer than where there's death and destruction on the nearly daily basis. So I don't know if it would catch anybody's attention, but Oscar, you know this area well enough. If you're at a high enough point, maybe top of a hill or the like, you just might be able to catch sight of it. I don't know if that's something that you'd be interested in doing. How many years has it been?
It's been long enough. Yeah, probably make a short stop to go up a hill, take a view.
Would you invite the others, or would they just follow?
I mean, at this point, I think I'm kind of leading, so unless they specifically deter, you know, I guess they're coming along.
Okay, you'd see Oscar leading, like you said, you know, as he has been for some time now, since you don't know how Doxy's wagon anymore. I almost said Waxy's doggy anymore. Don't know. So you
Waxy's dogging.
yeah, Waxy's dogging.
Very good.
So you lead them up.
We need a pub named that at some point.
Waxy's
Waxy
dogging.
dogging?
Yes.
Yeah.
You say a pug?
Pub.
Oh, okay, a pub. We'll
An inn or
write that
tavern.
down on the Doxy's POI, like down at the bottom.
I'm going to.
There you go. I was like, I would never own a pug. I like dogs. So
Yeah. Big same.
Yeah. So anyways, you would lead them. You guys would notice him lead you off of the trail and start heading up a hill off trail. It's not like it's
I can't edit this.
It's not like it's a crazy long climb. It's not like it's a crazy long. You can't edit that.
Mm-mm.
That's weird. Oh, look at this. Griselin. There you go. It's not like it's a crazy long climb up the hill, but when you do come round when it starts to like level off and come around the ridge of the hill, you notice a glint off in the distance. Traveling a little bit up, higher up, finally comes to the actual crest of the hill itself. You can finally see on the other side of the lake. I don't have words today. On the other side of the lake, we're talking some 25 miles away from where you are. You can see the edge of the massive ice wall that stretches out from one lake, and you definitely can't see the other side, to the other lake on the opposite side. This whole wall, from ends to end, is about 30 miles long. It is incredibly massive in its length. Its height is not small either. Clearly, if you can see it from 25 miles out, it's going to have some decent height to it, some decent girth to it, right? So this thing is just ginormous. You see it off in the distance. The way that it kind of slopes down, a hard slope once it comes to where the lake's edge is, into the lake, almost seeming like an iceberg stretching up out of the lake and into where it meets on the land and goes off. It is incredibly thick, is one of the things you notice as well. Details about the wall, unfortunately, are going to be kind of lost on you this far out. But you can see that on the back side of the wall, there is a amount of structure that's built there. Wooden structures kind of like built into the wall and off of it. Like you can imagine maybe places where people would have rooms to stay or weapon stations or whatever the case may be. It's, again, so far out, it's hard to make out those finer details. But you can definitely see these things that good distance away from where you are. That is literally the lifeline. That is what is keeping the divide between the Paradel army and just marching straight into the lands that are your home. That and the town. Looking straight down below, this small, sparse town that's down there, you can see it's so quaint and quiet. It seems so humble and relaxed, considering what you know is going on in the region. Everybody here make me a perception check, if you could. Did anybody roll stunt? Oscar,
Yes.
you doubled your stunt points. You actually have 12 stunt. Technically speaking, the next person's allowed to double as well, but we're not going to do it for the same check. So Josh, I'm not going to waste it on you. I'll save that for the next time you guys roll a stunt.
Well, I probably failed.
What? Oh, did you get 9 total? Yeah, definitely.
I only got 10.
Oscar, you actually have the most that you could ever hope to get because of something we integrated in the game for the viewers.
Sheer luck, huh?
12 stunt die, and this is going to, of course, be
exploration.
Correct. So if there's anything that you want to use all 12 of those on.
Jeez.
Technically, it says double the next roll, and someone did it again, so he should have 24.
No. You can't double the double. That's crazy.
All right. Oh boy. For exploration, I mean, is there resources at hand? Seems to make a lot of sense for the next bit while we're perceiving, just to add things like seeing, hearing, tracking. Those are like I could literally just spend 3 resources at hand and grab 3 focuses for the next little bit while we're
at this venue
while we're searching here. Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with that. If anybody else has any suggestions, please feel free. But I'm fine with that.
I'm very open to suggestions, so please. If I don't know if anything else makes sense here.
I turned down that hosting thing considerably. Is it still obnoxiously loud, or should I turn it down even more now that I got a host? Yeah, it was still loud. Okay, I have it down to 6%. I'll turn that down to like 3%. I'll half even what it is. Give me a minute. I'll do that. So, yeah, you want to grab 3 resources at hand? I'm perfectly fine with you tripling up like that.
Yeah, I think so. I think gonna do seeing, hearing, and tracking.
Sure. Beautiful. Doxy, what was your total check? Oh, just a 10.
10,
So
not good.
for you, sir, you're gonna have, like you said, the all those focuses: seeing, hearing, tracking. Just kind of keeping notes of that for yourself. And anytime you do this temporary ones, you probably should put an asterisk next to it so you remember to delete it in the future. Like, why do I have an asterisk? I should delete this. Anyways, so with your total there of 14, you're actually able to look down, and one of the things that you notice is to the east of where you guys are, maybe only about 5 miles to the east of where you are, you can actually see a military camp over there. This is in Yovance's land. There's a military camp there. You don't know Yovance's military tactics very well. You don't know how they build up their soldiers, how many they can fit in a tent, how it is that they march. You just don't know this stuff particularly well. You did study it to a degree when you were in that other town. So, but you know, so it's not like you have this stuff kind of like locked into your brain. If you had to guess, that's probably an army of about 500 to 600 soldiers. It could be more, but you believe it's an army of like 500-600 soldiers, which are meant to stand and work this perimeter. Any details beyond that, you're not really going to be able to tell, because again, you're like 5-6 miles out. It's hard to see anything. It's just your elevation that's even giving you that kind of insight. Anything else you guys want to do at this point, or anything you say to them, or even just acknowledging the ice wall?
Yeah, I mean, I would first of all note the army down below, because that's our priority. And I would just say, like, exactly what you said, just giving the general insight into how many, and it seems to be Yovance's military camp. And,
Yeah. Laszlo is fixated on the wall. He's just
Selin
staring
would
at
be
it.
staring too, for sure.
Yeah. It's very impressive magic to create that.
And I imagine it's beautiful.
have either
I
of you
mean,
ever
it
seen
is.
it
It's
before?
glistening. It has so much like beautiful like light and whatnot coming off of it. It's, you know, like a nice deep blue color with white snow near its tops and on parts of its sides and whatnot.
And the water trickling off of it has got to be like downright musical.
There's a small amount of water that trickles off of it. I mean, we're talking like little, I don't want to say it's like a river by any stretch or even like a stream, but you can see like a glistening that happens. It's too far for you to make out those details, but there's definitely a glisten there.
I have to be right back. One moment. Apologies.
25 miles, so you know. All right, that is not very loud. That's nice. Thank you, Josh. Cool. So you can hear it, but it's not like, oh my god. Cool. So you guys see the army. Do you guys acknowledge that at all beyond, you know, what Oscar just started saying?
It's probably more than that, to be honest. I know looks like it's 500 people, but remember, they don't care. They're just slaves. They throw them in. They probably double all the rooms up. The normal accommodations are probably, I would expect more. That's it.
Okay.
I want to check out, like, can I do any type of checks on this wall just so for later to try to help? Like, is there anything that I can, like, I want to focus on this wall so that later when we come up to any type of, like, remembering it or checks or anything, like studying it.
It's so
Okay.
far.
Okay.
It's 25
All right.
miles. You know, that's far. It's like you can see it because it's a mountain. You know what I mean?
What if I take my eye out?
Oh, yeah, sure. There you go. Because what a human vision's usually 3 miles due to the curvature of the Earth, right?
Yeah, around there.
So,
I mean, Aurorum's flat. So, whatever. There's a nice wall. Clearly, we see it.
Very clearly. Yeah, there you go. General question. From the Yovance's camp, looking past that, obviously that's far away and obviously it's going to be tough to tell, but are there any structures like a hillside, like large enough that I would see someone being able to scout it out from the other side? Just looking for structures where there could be scouts looking on.
you know, people on the with forces on the far side to be able to look back. Now, my apologies.
Yeah.
Are you saying from Paradel? Or
From
the other side of the town?
Like anywhere from
Because like
around.
Paradise is like a good 15 miles.
Where is the camp? Is it like in the middle of this hex?
Yeah,
type
exactly.
thing?
So you have to imagine.
So like basically, I'm looking at the perimeter of that hex.
Yeah. So if you're here, like where the town is, 5-6
Mm-hmm.
miles. Yeah, about right about here-ish.
Yeah, so looking past that to looking basically anywhere past that, scanning that, like within Yovance, basically like looking for where small
This
parties.
Is a separate perception check.
Yeah, seeing presumably.
Yeah, to like really search out there. Did you give yourself a focus on this, sir?
I did.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let it apply. You get to double those stun points too.
Okay. All right. So 8 stun points.
Oh wait, hold on. No, you don't. 14 is not high enough. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. 14 is not high enough to see that far away and make it
Fair enough.
as small as that. Yeah, my apologies.
Fair enough. All right. Well, without knowing any details, I would just turn and say, like, at some point, we should figure out where this camp could be scouted from. It's likely they're watching.
Always watching. From here, you guys, I imagine, head down and into the town, having acknowledged the river and everything that's there. Not the riverside, the ice wall that's there, the camp that's down below, so on. While you guys are heading down and into the town below, you, like I said, noticed very sparse, very few people, so on and so forth. Town, I mean, if it has a name, you literally have to ask somebody to find out what it is, which is Asius, is the name. It's not a, like I said, there's a speakeasy, no tavern, no inn, no anything like that. There's not really even any shops that function here at all. This is very much just, there are a couple of people that live here because they refuse to leave or they support the military, and that's it. And most of the people here are going to be military. Now, you're not Gishes. There's not anything like that happens to be stationed at this place. These are standard army, which I never actually said the name of the army. I'll look it up in a minute. But this is just standard soldiers, standard military that happen to be here. When you're looking to find out who's the commander in charge, you actually do find out that there is another magister that happens to be here, not a savant. And again, just a quick inquiry, because it's very easy to find out this information just from talking to random people as you're walking through the town. The savants that we had talked about beforehand, the female that had led the soldiers out of the previous town, Saul, through, she did not come through this area. So had she come, she most likely cut through Yvonne's as opposed to coming through Amalta, which runs true with her chasing into the woods as opposed to following the trail, right? Anyways, after you guys kind of settle in and gather that very basic information, just talking to random passersby, nobody seems surprised by you walking through here. I mean, you have a Venator with you, so you two are probably here with him under whatever mission he happens to have. They don't question it at all. And again, there's that somewhat suspicious look at there being a gnome, but you're just a gnome, dude. It's not like you're automatically Arcane Congress, so nobody makes the assumption that you are because you don't wear the colors, so you don't wear the robes. So somewhat suspicious looks, but nothing so much more than people might keep an eye on you, but like they don't do or say anything or even act negatively towards you in any way. Please take over. What do you guys do?
Following your lead.
Oscar.
You are muted.
You are elected party leader, sir.
Well, where are we going to stay tonight? What are we planning to do? These are things we need to plan. So.
Well, there are no inns. So unless we are invited to stay with people, I think that we're looking at it.
Yes. So, how do you want to set up? Where do you want to set up? We should set up first.
Chrysellen opens. Is it okay, Scott? You can say no. If she took a lot of the creature comforts out of the wagon, like some blankets and stuff to just kind of lay down in the cart. Cool.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Are you were you looking to like kind of set yourself up at the top of that hill that we were at beforehand? We can kind of like oversee the area. Is that what more or less you were saying, Doxy?
I feel like, well, I'm at the cart. I feel like we would want to find somewhere a bit more hidden.
Gotcha. Okay. So not in the town
If either
itself?
of you have a tarp, we could put a pretty decent roof over this. I imagine that me and one other can fit here. Somebody's going to have to sleep under, though.
One thing I would point out, my apologies, I didn't say to you beforehand when you guys were on the hill looking down, there aren't many trees around. As a matter of fact, around the town itself, there aren't any trees for probably a solid, like, almost 2 miles. Very likely it's just burnt down, cut down, or never grew that way. Either way, it gives you a good open view around that town. Please take over, Doxy. I'm sorry.
That's it. I was finished.
I have a tent, so realistically, the two of you can take the cart, and I can sleep in the tent, or someone else can take the tent, whatever they prefer.
And those details are figured out. Like I said beforehand, you guys had left earlier in the day before, and the travel here was more or less the better part of a day of travel. So you probably, beyond that basic information that you gathered when you first walked into the town, probably just don't do much today. Okay, we did a lot before, we got a little beat up, but that's okay. We traveled here, feeling better. You actually take the evening to rest a bit, but not foolishly. I imagine to some degree you set up a kind of watch. What kind of watch do you guys start to establish for yourselves?
Let me check something.
Chrisellen is very used to staying up late, so she could take the first watch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I should take the dead of night because I can see in the dark.
And I'll take first thing in the morning, like early rising. He wasn't listening, of course, so it doesn't really matter.
Chrisellen takes first watch, Laszlo takes second, Oscar takes morning watch.
Perfect.
Yep.
Not a problem. So it's one of those Chrisellen likes to have her beauty sleep in the morning, so she'll just stay up a little late now. And Lazo's like,
She's just used to staying up late and getting up early anyway because she stays up late
makes sense.
with her companions
Yeah.
and then has to report back. So it makes sense to me for her to go first.
No, that's fine. And Oscar's usually up early doing his push-ups, whatever he does, just morning jog. So sprints up the hill. So you guys are, you spend the night, whatever. Next morning when you get up, obviously you've had some time to let everything settle in. What is the agenda for this next day? Like, you guys know that you had tracked down, you were talking about maybe using sensors, so on and so forth. But you still haven't gotten to the front line yet. You still haven't gotten to where the actual battlefield takes place. This is just the last town between here and there.
We need to get Oscar normal clothes.
You think I don't have normal clothes?
Look at the one bag. Look back.
Oscar reaches into his bag and pulls out just regular traveler's garb and tosses it onto the back of the cart.
He's very efficiently packed. He knows how to pack his shit.
It's like rolled. It's all
Yeah,
like
it's
the
perfectly
navy.
rolled. Like it's like this big, and then you can take it apart if you need to. But I have clothes. I just don't have armor. That would be the appropriate thing to get at this point. Some heavy leathers would probably be intelligent.
We would be able to. Where would we get that for you here? They don't even have a shop. This place is. I don't even know if this is a town.
It's not. Let me go speak to the military presence here and see what happens. Maybe they've got some spare.
Remember, it doesn't have to be the best. I can improve your armor.
Doesn't have to be the best anyways. Just needs to look the part.
When you go and find the Magister that happens to be in town, again, it's easy for you to get a conversation with them. It's Magister Wart is going to be their name. When you go and speak with him, it's one of those, he's an older guy, like a much older guy. Funny enough, he's actually a Perrin, which is not abnormal, but he's actually a Perrin, so because he's much older, you can start to see his elongated features, his ears kind of like coming a bit to a point and a bit longer, his face kind of sinking in and being more elegant and sharper features. His, everything about him, his eyes a bit more almond shaped, has like definitely stands out very different, very beautiful from what a human would look like, right? So anyways, this older Perrin magister, when you go and speak with him, he goes, a Master Venator coming through. I imagine you weren't stationed here. I've not received word, so what is the plan for your arrival?
We're making an advance. Just a small group.
Need some supplies to travel through Yvonce, or...?
That's the intention. I'm wondering specifically if you've got any leathers that would fit someone of my size. I need to, no longer appear like a Venator.
They're military issues, so they'd still stand out as military garb if you need otherwise. Let's trail off.
Otherwise could be useful, but it would at least not make me appear as a Venator, which might help.
Well, there's a camp to the east of here. It's only, it's almost halfway between our border and the border of Paradel. It's a Jovencian camp. Perhaps they would have leathers that would make you stand out a bit less if you're trying to be discreet.
Yes, well, I suppose that might have to be the way.
This is the way.
Fair enough. Did you say they have about 500, 600 troops at that camp?
A bit more than that. Maybe 750 or so. Last my scouts have told me, but we share information back and forth with one another, but they don't give me specifics.
Of course. And out of curiosity, have you seen any other groups scouting on that camp, Paradel, specifically?
Well, there's another camp just after that one. Their forward camp. That camp there is meant to protect the coast, and in case our town needs a little guidance, a little aid, they're there to be able to get to us relatively quickly. We send up a message, they march over here, so on. But we don't want them too close to our border, as you can imagine.
Right.
There's a forward camp along the Paratel border. I think it's 7,000 strong, maybe 6. Again, they don't give me specifics. It's just what my scouts tell me, as I send messengers that way. They would be the ones getting scouted on, I imagine.
Fair enough. The only reason I ask is because, well, there is always, of course, the opportunity that scouts sneak through and try and gather information on weak points.
Oh, listen, the Yovance army, they're a bunch of slaves. Someone can easily dress down and slip through the cracks, and I'm sure it's happened to us more than once.
Oh, yes. I can guarantee that. Well, fair enough. We are planning on moving through.
Again, did you need supplies, rations, anything that we can assist you with?
Anything you can spare, nothing more.
We get regular enough supply coming from Saul. We shouldn't be too hard up unless you're looking to... how many you were traveling with? I think I heard 3 total?
That's correct. 3 including myself.
Yes.
So we do have horses as well, so...
We can spare oats, but luckily Yovance and the springtime, there's enough grass about, and Yovance is mostly grasslands, so you can, at least this part of it, they'll be able to graze as you move.
Excellent. Well, that's good.
Excuse me. Magister, have you... Wait, I'm sorry?
No, I imagine that he went and found this person, so I almost, like, in my headcanon here, I almost imagine, like, you joined later on, like one of those...
I'm just, like, I was like, just step out from behind him. I was like, were you warned about any type of ambush marching of a larger force of Paradel soldiers around here?
A larger force. No Paradel soldiers have breached through since they put in, I think when they first marched that army up there, it was 10,000 strong. They've taken they've suffered some losses, but I've not seen any true forces marching through in some time. Scouts mentioned maybe small bands here and there, but no actual numbers worth noting.
Careful. A town to the south of here is being threatened. And if that threat, if that town doesn't look too weak, they might come here. You guys are really close.
Well, I will make sure that the scouts report even the small numbers. We can investigate. He says, looking to the Venator, respecting your suggestion, but looking to the Venator to make
Oscar
sure... Oscar
does just nod and just gives kind of an affirmation there. Doesn't say anything, just nods. Well, thank you for your hospitality.
Of course. Now, please, you have anything you need? I'm sure you wouldn't need much of my permission anyways. They'd just give it to you, but just in case, throw my name.
I will. Thank you. And Oscar kind of, gives just a slight bow and then
There's the
steps
Paradise
back.
Flute.
Yeah. And just drops back and then walks away. Laszlo.
Yes.
About the scrying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned that puts Chrysalin at much more risk. And I made a promise to you that I would do everything in my power to protect her. And so I'm raising the concern. Honestly.
If I've seen anything from Chrysalin, it's that she could talk her way out of an ambush. I don't think we need to worry about her. She can make up her own mind.
I know she can make up her own mind. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is us putting her unnecessarily into danger. Ingratiating with Paradel that is a risk. No matter what semblance of safety it seems to provide. We're already going to be walking her into Yovance and having her meet with some of the most despicable human beings that exist. Those who would take slaves. And speaking with them. Trying to convince them to not do what they've done for generations. That's a lot of risk already that we're putting her in, and then to have that doubled. If I'm out of line in saying that it is a risk and concerning, and if both of you believe it's the right path, then say so. But I'm concerned.
I don't know the right path, Oscar. I used to think I knew all the rules of the game. And I found out I don't.
There are no rules. Everyone is making it up as they go along. Everyone trying to be the righteous forward. None of them are. Every single one of them makes their stand where they think is right. Most of them are wrong.
I also think, Oscar, we'll probably die doing this.
Yes. Very likely.
So, if that's the case, I'm not saying we shouldn't just throw ourselves to the wolves, but we should try to get as much intel as we can. We should make some use of our lives. And Chrysalin's idea is really smart.
Okay.
Chrysalin! Awkward moment. As
But she's not there, right?
Yeah,
I figure I stayed back and set up camp while they went to go get things.
She's like, really? I brought 17 lipsticks, and I didn't bring that one? 5 of these I haven't used in 3 years. Why did I bring these?
As if Chrysalin would keep expired makeups. No.
Oh, it's magically.
No.
It's magically. It doesn't expire. Come on. Maybe it's out of season, but Chrysellin's a trendsetter. She takes it out of season and makes it the in thing. Sorry. So anyways, I imagine their characters are then returned back to where Chrysellin is. Kind of inform her of the information that they got. And I don't know if it's something you care to RP there, Josh, or if you just want to... I inform her.
Yeah. There's not much RP there. I would though see her setting up, and to be nice, when she's not looking, I will activate Arcane Servant and just have it like clean up her stuff. That's gonna be dirty because we're outside constantly. Just so she might turn around and be like, "Oh, this looks good still." Yeah.
I love the idea that she has no idea that you did that, and she like as she finishes, she takes a step back and like admires her work and is just like, "That a girl, Chrysellin."
Do this roughing thing. This roughing thing's not that bad.
I mean, I knew I was like it rough, but now I know I like roughing it. Anyways, so you guys fill her in on the details and whatnot, and I don't know if Oscar actually made the plan. Are you going to try to grab like leathers from here that are military, or do you want to go and head to the east and speak to your the Yovant's allies and see if
Gonna have to speak to the Yovant's allies, I think, for what we're wanting to do.
Okay.
So,
Agree.
yeah.
Okay. What do you so you guys looking to head out this day? Do you looking to get any supplies from these people, or is it literally just time to head out right now?
I think the plan was that we just refilled our what we needed, you
Yep.
know, like feed, food, and stuff, and then tomorrow after we rest, head
Yeah,
over
this
to
conversation
our
was
first.
this conversation was the tomorrow.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's what I said.
Oh.
Next day. Yeah.
okay. Then I think we would be. How long would it take us to march?
I mean, honestly,
the
if you're
town.
bringing your cart to not town but that camp of he said it's about 750 people. It's 6 miles out. Wagon moves.
So like a few
2
hours.
miles a day, so 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's and there's a trail between there and here, so it is that amount of time, the 3 hours to get there. Because again, it's because they've said that the army has marched back and forth, so it's not like a road, but it's a trail. So you guys will be able to get there no problem.
Yeah, I don't see why we would wait unless you guys want to do something specific.
Okay. So then you guys would do exactly like you said. You would start heading off to the east just by a smidge to go and speak to them. And we don't have to stick on this map. We can totally go back to the other map. As you make your way 6 miles across the 14 mile gap between Amalta and Paradel. Now, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you have ever set foot on Paradel soil before, have you, Oscar? Have you ever set foot on Yovant soil before? Okay. So you've never been to Paradel before, and this is one of the closest that you've ever been, most likely, which is, again, you're, 7 miles or so, 9 miles or so from there. Like, that's very friggin' close. Anyways, when you guys come rolling up to the camp, it's an important thing to note that as you come up to it, there are a lot of drills being done at this camp to get the soldiers ready. Let me correct myself. There's a lot of drills being done to make sure the soldiers know who's boss and how it is that they need to follow commands. So there are, as you're approaching, you can hear the, I said thrust! I said thrust! Is literally the person that's giving orders is cracking a whip and giving the impression like anybody that steps out of line or does poorly is going to be, oh yeah, you don't need the impression. Literally somebody is, probably it's through exhaustion, but you see somebody being another soldier or commander walking down the line and grabbing one of the soldiers and literally jacking them from behind down to the ground and start booting them in the ribs while they're on the ground and saying, you will work harder, you will fight, you will die for your nation. Gah, gah. And again, this is like a good distance from where you are as you're seeing them doing this. And it's, to imagine to each of you, one degree or another, rather horrifying witnessing. Now, this is not right where you are. It's probably like a good 150 meters away, like a good chunk, but his voice carries in these open plains, and these soldiers are lined up. You unfortunately are going to have to walk with your cart past that and to the main camps themselves, where all the tents are set up. The tents that are set up there are set up in like lines, rows. It is actually designed pretty well that they don't have to have everybody near it. Fun fact, the tents that you come across are not the most dense tents, actually. The far side of where you are, the parallel side, is where you would find... the side where you are is where the most dense tents are. The side that's closer to a Malta. There's a ton of massive tents that are there. And before you even get to them, the smell from those tents is horrifying. It is not a very pleasant smell that comes through. You can only imagine the number of people that must be in them. Not so much that people don't bathe that much anyways. These are soldiers, but these aren't soldiers, you know? Anyways, when you make your way through that wall of smell, you can actually come through to where the other tents are set up. Much bigger, much nicer. And every one of them, as you walk within like maybe an arm's length of them, you can smell like a perfume coming from inside of it. Almost like they're compensating to keep the smell of everything else from the outside, out, right? None of you guys, again, are very familiar with Yovant's tactics or setups, but you did have a studying of their stuff beforehand when you were in that thing. Feel free to make an intelligence check to know this. I think there's actually like a war knowledge or something one.
Even me who did not read that book?
Huh?
Even me who did not read that book should make this intelligence check? Or just Oscar?
You can make an intelligence check. You just make a flat intelligence check. Your DC
There's military lore.
Yeah, I don't have military lore as a focus.
What?
So it's,
I know you're getting at level up.
I have arcane lore instead.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. And I don't remember it. I'm a little bit distracted right now. That's just actually something to note. Is Oscar is currently gripping his spear quite hard, and as he's riding forward, at trying like just one hand, it's in his right hand, and it is like you guys would actually probably notice it is pretty much like in ready to attack mode, because he's every time the whip cracks, he's gritting his teeth pretty hard. So.
So you
I get a +2 because I did the breakdown. Just saying.
Yep. So you get the +2 because like you said, but you also got 10 stunt points. Because the other stunt double, the one was dropped by Silencio, and that went to Oscar before. This one was dropped by Oklo earlier, and that one now goes to you because you actually succeeded a check with stun. So you get double the stun. You have 10 to spend. Let me change our overlay.
I want to do that makes me wonder. Mm-hmm. So I get to make an additional perception check of the surrounding area to gather more information.
Cool. We'll do that in a minute.
And 10, Jesus. Jesus, that's crazy. 10. All right, so that's 3. So I have 7 left. So I'll just do a resources at hand.
Sure.
And
leaves you with 3 left. Choose a focus.
Okay, and then I don't know. Can I double makes me wonder? I don't know.
I would say no because you're gonna get that check anyways.
Yeah. I will take
whatever you can do. Wait until you do whatever that makes you wonder before you choose the last one, because maybe object of your attention you might want to do afterwards.
Okay.
So roll that perception check, sir. Beautiful.
And it is a lore check, even though I don't have it. It is a lore check, and because it's a lore check, my scholar lore kicks in.
I would do resources at hand right now.
I am.
He did one of those, yeah. So
but it has to be in the same field, so it has to be intelligence.
So you so you're saying that's supposed to be a 15, Josh? To be clear, because the you're saying you have a focus, right?
No, it has to be intelligence. I have to pick the research at hand.
Okay, so anyways, with your additional perception check, so one, you're able to immediately identify which tents are which. You can identify like, okay, well that's definitely going to be the commander's tent. That's definitely going to be the tent that has the supplies in it. Over here is going to be where they handle the slop of food, so on and so forth. You're getting the impression of which tents are going to be what and where, so on and so forth. With your additional perception check that you see here, you're actually able to you're actually able to make out that there is a tent here that does not follow the military structure and military style, so on and so forth. It actually strikes you as odd or different, whereas all the other tents are made out of like heavy, like almost like canvas style, so on and so forth, like you imagine a military tent would be, right? This one actually has a lot of like furs and whatnot on it. It has a very nice kind of design and elegance to it. Also has some sort of sigil or whatever that is on there. You are not familiar with that sigil. No check you make would make sense for you to know what that is, but it definitely stands out as being a non-military tent amongst the rest of them. Your perception check picks that up for you. What do you want to do with those last 3 stunts, and then we can move on? Oh, sorry, can't see the rolls. Got it.
Object of our attention. You receive a +1 to further test, to examine and perceive additional aspects of that object until it changes. The venue changes.
It's a +1. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. So feel free to RP what you guys see, how you guys smell, so on and so forth as you're walking through the area. And I obviously know the white knuckle.
I think we would all be very careful to hold our tongues right now.
You can tell that's exactly what Oscar is doing. Like, and you can, if you're close enough, you can see just exactly how, like, horribly white his knuckles are with how he's gripping that spear at the moment. Like
I think a lot of telling looks between us.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't know us, you wouldn't know that we're absolutely fucking disgusted to be walking through here.
Yep.
Okay. So, you guys are having that impression. Do you share any information with them there, Laszlo?
Not at the moment, because I think we're heading to go into town, or into closer. But just for the focus that I'm picking up, I want to pick up the military lore.
Oh, sure.
Now.
There you go. Hey, from that studying that you did before. Cool.
And then, yeah.
So definitely.
So
that's a
with that,
tent. Mm-hmm.
With that, can I look at just the basic layout,
Sure.
and to see if this would be an actual, like, if this place would survive an attack with the way it's laid out?
Oh, yes, if the attack came from a Malta. But also, it's designed to mobilize towards Malta.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you guys are. I mean, if somebody came. So you guys are there. Who are you looking for? What's the plan? I mean, you're marching through. Nobody's said anything to you yet. Nobody's said a single word to you because they're slaves and that's not their place, or they're low-tier taskmasters that are. It's not their place to question people that are dressed in whatnot as you guys are. I mean, you're still wearing Venator armor and whatnot, right? I mean, nobody's going to question your arrival here as of right now. She's dressed like a goddamn goddess.
Okay.
You're dressed like a Venator. And
I am wearing, like, riding clothes.
yeah, but let's be serious.
It still look better than ours.
Yeah. It's like Google fantasy riding clothes. That's what you're wearing.
I would approach one of the taskmasters. I would. And I would say, a quartermaster?
Sure. So walk up to the, so my apologies, as a question, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He looks at you. You can get the impression from this guy here that he's probably not seen a woman for some time. As a matter of fact, you kind of like the way he's staring at you, you realize, I don't think I saw any women here for coming through. Okay, this is fun. And so he's like,
my apologies, Luthera. And she curtsies.
He's like, yeah. Hey, Luthi. Quartermaster. Yeah. That one right there. He says, pointing at the tent. Can I show you?
You'd have my utmost gratitude.
Now you're walking, correct? So he'll come over and be like, please let me show you. And he comes over and he goes to like take your hand to like be nice.
I would let him, and I would Oscar and Laszlo.
So he goes to like take your hand or whatever, and it's one of those I mean, even just as he grabs your hand, if he has ever cleaned under his fingernails, well, at the very least, he hasn't since the last time he clipped them, which may have been before. I don't know. Like it's, oof. And as he even approaches, before he even is able to grab your hand, so you can see those finer details, you certainly catch smell of the odor that comes off of him. Oscar and Laszlo, you guys can roll me a perception check really quickly.
I'm very distracted right now.
Yep, you guys unfortunately don't notice anything additional. And he starts leading you over towards the direction of the tent. He's got the whip at the side, weapon at the side. He's got a whip, a cudgel, and a sword on him. He starts leading over towards the direction. He doesn't really talk at all, unless you guys talk to him.
What language is he speaking?
They speak Perrin is the common tongue when dealing with outsiders, so they speak Perrin.
I will say,
but their native tongue is Tasian. So.
Okay, I will speak towards Kerselin in a Maltese, and I would say, "Do you think he understands me?"
In what language was that? Sorry.
In a Maltese.
I would study his face.
Malta speaks Tasian.
Oh,
there are the two human languages.
Then never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I misunderstood.
It's one of those things where they just have it's like the difference between, say, South African English and like British English. Like, it's English, you know.
Okay. I'll say it in Tasian then, just to see if you could pick it up.
So, and you said it to who?
I say it towards Kerselin, but loud enough that he could overhear me.
I would say you guys don't have to roll. You can pretty much tell by like the way he gestures or whatever that he understood what you said.
I would just nod at him.
Okay. So he doesn't say anything in response. Do you guys say anything else, or you just go up to the quartermaster? Cool. So you go to the quartermaster. When he actually leads you to the quartermaster's tent, he doesn't hold the tent open. He actually stops like a good, 8-9 feet away from that tent, like 3 meters or so away from that tent, before you guys get to it. And he's like, it's right there.
You have my gratitude.
He nods, says,
The next time you're in the capital.
The where?
The capital.
Of?
Here. What's the capital of here?
Of Jovencia?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. Let me map it. You expect me to have that information off the top of my head for a world?
Yeah, I don't
created
have that
myself?
information.
I mean, come on. Who knows their own nation's capital?
I imagine Kerselin would know, though.
Yeah, of course. It is Archaea. Sorry, Archaea.
Okay.
And it's very far to the south. Like hundreds of miles to the south.
She's still playing stupid.
Sure.
So she would say, the next time you're in Archaea, seek out Luther, the winemaker. He's my father.
Oh, you're bullshit.
Tell him Luthera, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him Luthera owes you a bottle of wine.
Again, I'm not even going to make you roll. And he's just like, okay. Yes, thank you. And he he does this awkward bow and half step backwards and bow and half step backwards and walks away with a smile on his face. But the whole thing plays out very, very strangely. Once again, watching this, all of you guys this time can roll a sense motive check, whatever that's called, perception, empathy.
As he walks away, Kerselin would look to the other two and say, they're not even allowed women.
Josh,
what is your perception?
It was 12.
Oh, you already rolled yours. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought one of you guys had empathy.
No. I had it. Yeah. I had it as a temporary focus.
Oh, sorry.
And
okay, that's fine. Okay, so either way, that's fine. You're 12. You get a very subservient way and awkward thing off of him. He comes off as just not a typical person. Maybe it's just the culture here in Jovance, but he is a very, very strange person. Like the way that he was reacting, acting, so on and so forth. That's just as Scott's RP. He comes off as very doesn't know how to handle the situation. Either way, Chrysalin says they're not even allowed women here.
Oscar just doesn't even respond. Like, that's where he's at right now. He is just trying not to be visibly pissed, but failing miserably. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we speaking freely? I say to Chrysalin.
No. Not yet.
I'll just nod and go. That's a pity.
So the as you guys take like another step or whatever closer towards the tent, somebody opens it up for you. You can tell that this clearly was a slave or servant or whatever was there. They must have been on the other side of the tent the entire time, because you take another step or so towards it, and they just open it automatically for you. It's like, oh, hi. And when they open it for you, they don't say anything. They don't introduce you. They just open it and step to the side so you guys can walk in.
Do they smell, or are they like clean?
They're clean. Definitely get a different impression off of this servant than you do the others.
Well, Oscar, it's your armor.
After you.
Oscar walks forward and is the quartermaster clearly visible here at this point?
As soon as you walk into the tent, which again, these tents, they're round in shape because of wind and stuff like that, as you must imagine. They're round in shape, which is the most efficient design. When you go in there, obviously, you can see like all the walls around you. It's pretty good in size, but the quartermaster themselves very obviously stands out in his large self. I mean, he probably stands. He's not a short man by any stretch. He probably stands at a good like 6'1", you know what I mean? Maybe 6'2", but he easily weighs, and sorry, American terms, he easily weighs close to 400 pounds. Like he is and it's not pure muscle by any stretch. He's a husky
He's
boy.
a tubby dude.
Yeah. And it's not any surprise that as you come walking in, and he's very comfortably sitting on the arranged chairs or whatever that he has there, there is a decent sized goblet inside of his paw. I mean, that is probably more liquor than Oscar would drink in a celebratory night, would fit in that one goblet. And it's like a trough in his hand. And he's sitting there, and as you guys come walking in, he's very comfortably sitting there and watching after you're walking in. There are other servants inside here as well that are going about just kind of like maintaining things, so on and so forth. Everyone in here is male, though. There are no females in here as well.
Oscar walks forward and just kind of gives this is probably the first time that Chrysalin and Laszlo have seen Oscar bow without it being something done out of respect. This is very clearly a bow it's got the decorum, but it does not have any of the respect behind it. There's no weight behind it. And then Oscar will stand again. And
after you walk in and you bow, and the other two pay their respects and however it is they believe it sees fit, why don't we take our first break, and we'll come back in a moment and see, I guess, according to Josh, what Jabba in the Hutt has to say. So,
Jabba in the Hutt.
That's
Yeah.
Josh.
it's very good.
All right,
very
we'll be
good.
back in just a couple of minutes. See y'all very, 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 very soon. Goodbye.